Yeah, hi again, guys. First, I want to thank you guys for all of your interest in my first video. It was really a little bit surprising and a very pleasant surprise. It's just terrific to see the interest, that there's people out there who are actively interested in creating positive change. They recognize that there's an obvious problem in this country, and it is up to us to do something about it. Now, how do we do something about it? We don't need to necessarily fight, okay? I listen to Alex Jones regularly. I respect his work a great deal. I think his documentation is excellent. I think he's a little bit of an alarmist. Keep in mind, anytime you listen to anyone, including me, question everything all the time. Listen, but question everything constantly. Try to maintain a balance. We don't need to fight this thing so much as we need to find solutions. Most people are good people. Firm believer in that, okay? These guys writing traffic tickets, okay, they're just doing their job, as I said in my first video. Don't give them a hard time. If they're giving you a hard time, try to just let them indulge in their egos a bit. Try to cooperate as best you can. One of the hints I'll give you about how law works is you don't ever want to refuse to cooperate, okay? Refusals amount to many, many problems. I want you guys to learn this. It's a fundamental aspect of law. You don't have to refuse things unless they're fraud, and in most cases, the only time you do refuse things is when it's done within documentation. You want to cooperate as much as you possibly can. I know in Pennsylvania, when you get traffic tickets, they want you to sign the ticket on the side of the road. Now, ask the officer, do I have to sign this? What are you going to do if I sign this? If I don't sign this, I mean. If he says, I'm going to take you to jail, then simply sign it with a little under duress next to your signature. Don't be afraid to write that, okay? What the signature is carries a legal nexus. The word signature does not mean what you think it does. Your handwriting and your signature are two different things. You can sign your name and put under duress next to it, and that will suffice, meaning that you have signed something under duress. It nullifies a contract instantly. Okay? There's a lot more to that. I just wanted you guys give you guys some good information here that you can actually use. How did I get into traffic tickets and why? I moved out to the rural country many years ago to live as a virtual hermit. I discovered the hard way that cops out there have nothing to do. They just have nothing to do. So they spend their time pulling over virtually any person that comes within 50 feet of them to ticket them for those most minor of infractions, presumably fulfilling their 3 public interactions per day requirement, earning extra bonus points on their corporate climb, and earning tons of dough for the local and state governments in the process. Lots of gold stars and happy faces for fighting crime given out here, for getting the bad guys, while my wallet got smaller and smaller. Now, what crime did I really commit when my headlight was out? When my front tag was missing off my plate? When I went 10 miles over the speed limit at 1 o'clock in the morning while there's no other cars anywhere to be found? What wrong did I really incur? Who got hurt? Why am I paying a penalty when I've done nothing wrong? Okay? This started my active and ongoing education in law, study I've done both institutionally in college as well as countless hours in private and in study groups and at the law library, and it became an almost full-time occupation at one point that I wasn't getting paid for, but from which I would eventually benefit immensely. Now, I've gone over is traffic a civil or criminal matter. I want you guys to watch my first video and really think about some of the points I made. In this, as an example, in the smaller town where I was living, You go to this alleged trial, and the traffic cop there will attempt to prosecute the case before a judge. There won't even be a DA there. There won't even be a prosecutor there. And a cop shows up and serves as both a witness to the alleged crime. He actually gets up on the stand and serves as a witness, and then he in turn stands across from you and prosecutes the matter. Okay? Number one, does this officer have a license to practice law? Oh, there's Bush. I'll get to that in a minute. This officer with his speed gun there, do they have a license to practice law? If you attempted to practice law in a courtroom, what would happen to you? Is it legal for you to practice law? Do you think you might be prosecuted for attempting to practice law? If there is a legitimate prosecutor, a DA or ADA present, how does he, just pretend there is a real prosecutor there, which there is oftentimes, depending on the venue and the jurisdiction. How does he, as a member of the Bar Association, the same as the judge is a member of the Bar Association, expect to convince anyone that there is not a conflict of interest? Does the prosecutor benefit from more convictions rendered by the judge, or doesn't he? Okay, do you follow what I'm saying? This guy has caused a lot of problems in this country. He's actually been a blessing for us. Why? He's been so bad that people have finally woken up. They're beginning to wake up more and more and more. The difference between the executive branch and the judicial branch has become blurred. They seem to be working in conjunction with each other very often. The Patriot Acts, Military Commissions Acts, the executive orders of May of 2007 that this guy has issued regarding his powers should martial law come into play. Pretty scary stuff. If you want that executive order, email me and I'll get it for you. I don't have it offhand. The way we need to resolve this and retain our freedoms is by doing the right things here. We cannot get violent. We can have a revolution, but it doesn't have to be a violent one. We have to do things right. I'm not anti-government, as I've said before, because I understand what government is now, and I will teach you guys more and more about what that actually is according to my discoveries over time. The well runs very, very deep. When you begin to understand this stuff, you begin to be able to understand how you can separate yourself from this system lawfully in such a way that it will be recognized and understood. Look at what the Lakota are doing right now as a fantastic example. Look it up. Republic of Lakota. They are doing some amazing things to separate themselves, sever their ties from the United States, renouncing their U.S. citizenship. Now, what I'm talking about, we will go into that at another time, but in the meantime, with all the traffic issues that we have and whatnot, you can find your remedy in the law itself, in the statutes. It's a fundamental aspect of law. Here's a big lesson for you. It is presumed and assumed that if you do not properly contest, rebut, or challenge properly what is happening to you, it is assumed and presumed you are in full agreement with it. Full agreement. No matter if you remain silent, you are in agreement. Okay? Think about what the Miranda warning says. Everything you say can and will be used against you. Everything you say, no matter what it is, if you try to maintain your innocence, no matter what it is you say, it will not be used to prove your innocence. It will be used against you to prove your guilt, no matter what you say. Think about that. Now, how do you not refuse to do things? How do you cooperate and keep yourself out of trouble? More to come. Thanks for listening, guys.